Good morning, everybody. I am totally wearing glasses because yesterday I got something in my eyeball and it made my eyeball swell a little bit because I kept rubbing it after the fact, trying to clean it even though there was nothing in there. And now my eyeball got stuck shut while I was sleeping with eye boogers. Anyways, as you guys see, the car ran yesterday and that was super exciting. But now we gotta finalize everything, which is while we're building brackets. Wes is over here still mounting the vise. I say that like he did mount it already, but I am making a plate to hold our fuel pump in that hole right there. Make sure to check out boostedlifestyle.com. All your merchandise. Subscribe to the channel and like the video. That's how it's gonna sit in there. Literally all the 180-degree fittings. These two go to the engine. Those are pump 1, pump 2. Return from the engine, so the return from the engine actually feeds the tank. This one's feed from the stock tank, and then this one's return back to the stock tank. So this always stays full, and you never have to worry about fuel sloshing in the tank affecting fuel pressure. And then Wes over here mounting the relays to the battery box, except we will have to take that off after because the plastic has to come off.
One step at a time.
Went ahead and made this ring template here, and this thing is going to fit over top of our hole for our fuel pump. Just like yay. And then we'll build some walls up on the top and then plate it in on the top as well, and then we can put riv nuts or something through here and bolt this piece down to isolate our fuel pump outside the car again. Alright, I actually took a day to myself. I went to the hospital, they checked out my eyeball because it felt really scratchy, but it turns out I did get the piece of metal out of it. It's just scratching a little bit, so I got some eye drops for it now. Feels much better today. It was stuck together last night where the eye boogers closed and I had to to get the eye boogers unstuck. So let's build us a fuel cover. Here's our tank. It's not very consistent weld-wise. I've been playing around with the hertz settings and stuff on the welder. It seems like for the thin stuff, 90 hertz works a little better. I'm the biggest doofus in the world right now. I totally welded this thing backwards. It's supposed to be this hot. That way. That is so annoying right now. Of course. That's painful, man. That is painful. Well, here's to hoping I can fix it. Oh yeah, I completely destroyed some bearings there. I think it's pretty safe to say we foobarred our bearings in our bandsaw. Just gotta get them off the shaft now, hopefully. Not me stealing some skateboard wheel bearings to put in my bandsaw for now. Nope, not me. Fixed it. It's not as pretty as it once was, but neither am I guess. Basically like that. Squeeze! put some rib nuts in there, and then I use some truck coat because that makes any aluminum welds look good. So that's truck bed liner covering this piece. It just has to dry. We're gonna put some sort of weather stripping around the bottom of it so it actually seals to the chassis. And then that way all the fuel junk is like outside the car. We're gonna end up welding some dash 16 bungs to this side and to this side and to here and to the bottom. And it's just gonna go 16, 16, 16, 16. The only problem is this lower one down here actually runs into the charge piping. So I might have to put a really tight 90 elbow on it first and then put our fitting and then go from the fitting up to the piece. Oh yeah, I forgot I dented up this radiator. Well, sorry radiator. I think I really just wanted to be Harry Potter. I think I burnt myself on the forehead, and I'll show you how. Taking this piece of pipe, trying to measure it how I want to cut it like this, and I went to lean like this, and I just finished welding this bung, and I rested my head on that bung, and I burnt my friggin' forehead. It hurts. Custom weird ass fittings to fit our turbo kit. This one's actually tilted back a little bit so we can clear the inlet of the turbo, and this one has to come up over the shroud but stay away from the charge piping. I just looped one of my radiator hoses here, and I just want to see if our thing right here is going to leak. So I did fill it up with water. I don't really trust that, but I don't know what to do. I could probably like JB weld both sides of it probably. Have our air compressor here at about 15 PSI. I'm not seeing any leaks. The only leaks I see are from the snow that I put on it. Now all we have to do is modify the water pump with 16AN. I just kind of beat this fitting out of it. Little known fact, those things are just kind of pressed in there. So weld that fitting onto there, and then this is a, basically you can rotate it whatever way you want inside there, and then I have a gutted thermostat inside of it, because we didn't really need heat, but I might put an actual thermostat back in it, then another one of these fittings welded there to match our radiator. Oh my god, I kind of do look like Harry Potter today. Look at me. Yeah. Expecto Butcher Boner. You guys are probably sick of me aluminum welding, so how about you watch me use a hammer instead? You know this doesn't happen often, so we might as well take a screenshot of it right now. Cheat. I'm actually using a vise. And it's gonna be awesome because I have to tap these two holes in the end. Wow, the vise doesn't even move. Now before we put the water pump on, I think I'm gonna try and remove the balancer, and I'll be a nice guy, I'll give the wife the ATI damper, the second one that I have. So, see if this will come off. That wasn't very tight at all. Totally forgot that the balancer is still on this engine. Pretty sure every time I use this puller, I almost break it. Oh, it's coming. Nice. Yeah, one of these is definitely a little bit better than the other one. One's like beat up and old, and the other one's like new and tight. I can't seem to find my janky ass install bolt, which is not uncommon for me to lose things like that. So I'm gonna put the water pump back on instead. Here we go. Please fit. I guess I'm going on a parts run. I need some fittings so we can put our coolant lines from here up to there. Also need some fittings so we can run coolant to our turbos, because they're supposed to be coolant cooled as well. And you want to do that because there's a ball bearing turbo and a cast housing. That's how you cook them. And hopefully find like an installer bolt for our balancer. All right, I think we got everything we need. Cody Loach actually sent me SN95 spindles, so the spindles are inside. I just ordered the brakes, calipers, rotors, brake lines, so all that's done. Not done, but it's ordered. And then I got a bunch of fittings. We'll try and plumb up our cooling system right now. So, Gina.
Hi.
Gina came out to lend a hand.
I mean, as I should, I guess. I did miss the first startup because I was painting my chi-chis.
Yep. She was doing a live stream on Twitch. Twitch.tv/alientrashkitty.
That's me.
We need to take these hoses right here. Our new fittings down here, those are going to be for the heater core lines, and then this right here is going to be for the feed for the turbos. So coolant feed to the turbos, and then the return from the turbos, I think I'm going to come out each side and just go into the radiator. So hose from here to there.
Hose?
Hose.
Hose.
Hose. I'm going to weld some 6am bungs in the side of my radiator just to come from the turbos back into the radiator. It'll just be the cleanest way to do it.
Where'd the other tube go?
Boop and the boop. On the top up there? It was literally right there.
I know. I swear I'm not high.
Gina's got to go pick up the kiddos, so she left. But she has the two hoses made for us for our heater core here. I did find a bit longer bolt locally, which hopefully I can put the balancer on with. And then once we have the balancer on, I did weld two bungs into our radiator, one here, one on the other side for our turbo return, and then this can all go back in permanently, and then we can make our coolant lines, and then the engine has coolant. Then we gotta make turbo lines and fuel lines. It's a lot of AN lines we gotta make. And lines. All right, radiator's in place, but it turns out that our housing right here hits the belt. I guess you're supposed to use a different water pump accessory, but since we've already used this one, I'm not gonna not use it. It like barely touches this piece right here. I'm just gonna cut out our own plate here, cut out a hole in the middle, and then weld the bung a little bit offset, and then it should clear. I'm not gonna weld this piece out, I'm just gonna cut the bung and make it straight. Always doing sketchy stuff. We're just gonna slap some RTV on here because that's how we normally do redneck things around here. I'm gonna put it on my finger first, actually. Get this belt off because this isn't even the belt for it. Definitely not the prettiest thing I've ever built, but it's totally gonna just clear where we needed to clear. Technically, I probably could have welded that bung in the water pump like right between the belts, but that'll work for now. The only downside being we can't run a thermostat right now, which isn't too much of a deal because we don't really use the heat in the summer. So if it becomes an issue, we'll figure something out. I'm gonna build some janky ass hoses right now. They gotta go really weird ways, and you'll see just in a minute. Man, why did nobody tell me having a mounted vise will be this good? It works good. Alright, I'm not proud about how I routed these lines, but it's really the only way that I can do it, and I'll show you why. This one had to go down and then loop back up into the top, and then the bottom one, well, it's just kind of a straight shot. It's a 90-degree fitting up to this one, and this is a 45. So the coolant comes in this side, it actually travels here, goes to the bottom and travels back across the radiator, dual pass, and goes back into the engine. The reason I couldn't just put this 90-degree fitting this way is because it would block the inlet of this. And if we're going to ever run air filters, which I want to do, they will fit here somewhere with a tight little 45 radius, and another one will fit here. So if that's the case, I can't exactly block my passageway to the inlet if we're going to put a filter here. So that's why I had to go down and under. The only coolant lines left to run are the ones going from this T right here to the turbos. So each one of these turbos is going to get its own feed line, but I also have to make a bunch of dash 6 line for the rails, 6 and 8. And we finally got our fuel tank in today. So the fuel tank can go in, we can do our surge tank, we can plumb that up, do all the wiring for all that stuff, do the turbo coolant lines, and the whole cooling system is done. The only thing we need is power steering lines, power steering cooler, and I'm trying to have this thing ready to run by either the weekend or early next week. So like 7 days from now. It's getting there, boys. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. If you've made it this far, maybe you should consider subscribing. Hit the little bell notification next to the subscribe button. That's huge for channel analytics. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll be back out here again tomorrow, bright and early. I'm gonna do a quick cleanup and I'm gonna jump right into it. I need this thing done. We need to get it out of here so we can get something else in here. And I promise you that's gonna be fun. You'll wanna see that one. And remember, you can get all your Boosted Lifestyle merch at boostedlifestyle.com. Peace easy. Get that V, shop Black Sheep Industries.